Yeah, that's something else, isn't it? I mean, these guys just explosive waiting to happen, and so yeah, it's a great challenge for our guys. We're excited.
Is it about the scoring or the explosive plays? Because they score a lot of points and run the ninth least amount of plays.
Yeah, the two go hand in hand. We're looking. There's not a ton of red zone stuff, because they're scoring from so far away. They still don't have a great grasp of who they are identity-wise in the red zone, because that just hasn't been necessary for them, which I think is a good problem to have if you're an offensive coordinator.
What is it about the Riley brothers that make them so successful offensive minds?
I think they're really smart. I think they're sharp in what they do. They believe in what they do. And let's face it, I mean, they're really good players. That always helps too. I don't know if you could. Sometimes it's about the Jimmies and Joes a little bit also, but I think they do a great job of being creative in finding different ways to get those guys the ball, get those guys touches, get those guys open, and then of course when you got a quarterback that's a great facilitator, I think it makes things so much more smooth.
What has Duggan done differently this year than in 3 times past?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just playing with a lot of confidence. I think he's. There's not a lot of slowdown in the things that he's doing. I think he's making decisions and going with them, and he's healthy. I think that's a thing that's kind of been his downfall over the years too. Is he runs the ball so much and he runs so hard. He takes a pounding, and there's been years in the past where he hadn't been the same at the end of the year as he is in the beginning sometimes. And right now he's healthy and he's playing fast.
TCU was Felix's kind of big game last year. Is he on the upward swing from what he was dealing with a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, that's been a kind of work in progress all year, but he's been practicing great, and yeah, I think he's about as healthy as he's been for a while.
Speaking of health, Khalid Duke, Coach Kleiman said he was going to practice on Tuesday. Kind of where is he at?
Yeah, he's on track too. He's been going through the week, getting more and more reps each day.
A guy like Josh Hayes seemed like he had a head start coming in because he knew you guys had go to state. But looking back, just how did he hit the ground running?
Yes and no. I mean, he knew what to expect from me. He knows what to expect from Coach Kleiman. Totally different system. A lot of different terminology. We tried to kind of marry the two, so there's some things that he understands. Totally different position. I mean, he was a corner. That's a whole nother way of seeing the game. A player is not a player is not a player. I mean, he's seeing it from a corner's eyes and seeing it from a safety's eyes are way different ends of the spectrum. And so kudos to him for all the things that he's done, just adjusting, because it's been extraordinarily seamless. I mean, he's just an incredible student of the game. He's up here working all the time on his stuff, and we could put him in any situation. He just kind of takes it and smiles. You want to go play man coverage against their best guy, no problem. You want me to be in the box in the run fit, no problem. You want to use me as a blitzer, no problem. Just we're so lucky to have him.
You mentioned Quentin Johnson a little bit ago, but is he a bigger problem before the catch or after the catch?
It depends on where he's catching it. Yeah. Obviously the vertical stuff is scary because of his length, and I think he's got good speed, and he does a great job of creating separation on corners or whomever, and going up and getting it. But yeah, likewise after the catch on some of the jet sweep things that he does, he's not an easy guy to bring down. So yeah, we're gonna have to have bodies around him quite a bit.
Is their slot guy every bit as dangerous as their big?
Yeah,
perimeter guy?
yeah. I mean, it's there's multiple. I mean, I think receiver-wise, this might be the best core potential in the Big 12. I haven't seen everybody yet, but they're very, very good.
Because of those receivers, does it place an even more emphasis on guys like Omar Daniels, VJ Payne, Jacob Parrish this week to kind of step up and have bigger games?
Yeah, and that, not a lot of what we call 10 personnel throughout the league, 4 receivers in the game at the same time. I think most of the teams in the league generally will have a tight end out there. They might be in the same formations, but there'll be a tight end body out there somewhere. These guys will do some stuff with 4 receivers, which a lot of teams won't do, so probably forces us at times to match personnel a little bit also. You're not going to be comfortable sticking a linebacker out there or a safety even. You might have to get some more of those type of bodies out there sometimes.
You guys have given up 16.7 points per game and have held every opponent underneath their scoring average so far in the season. How good is this defense, man?
I'll be honest with you, I'm probably the worst guy in the country at looking at statistics and those kind of things. I look at it as a bottom line of execution or not, and I think each play has an identity of its own, a life of its own, and I guess what I'm most interested in is us just executing. And what my job, I think, is as a coordinator is to put guys in competitive situations and then just trust that they're going to get things done. And if I can do that, I think we've got a good enough team to win a lot of those competitive situations. So we're still a work in progress. I don't want to start patting myself on the back or anything like that at all. We've got a big batch of games coming up here, but I'm happy. Our guys love football. They work their tails off every day, and it's a great group to be around on a daily basis.
Are there any key stats you do look at the end of every game?
I to be honest, I look at I like to look at our third down percentage, and I like to look at the points. And that's it. I don't really get mixed all that much up in yards or who had the most tackles, or I really don't. I probably should. I think I got other fish to fry sometimes. I'm gonna do the best I can Sunday through Saturday morning, and then let those guys sort it out on Saturday, and whatever happens. And certainly we look at things to try to find ways to improve and where we're struggling and those kind of things. But I think some of that stuff just presents itself on the tape, and I think we've done a decent job of changing and adapting week to week, and we're going to continue to do that.
Did you find anyone in the bye week that can maybe help you guys out a little bit more in the second half of the season than maybe did in the first?
It was good. I don't know that anybody will step into a massive role off of the bye week, but I think that we got a lot of positive reinforcement on some things we thought about some of our young guys. Guys like Jake Clifton and VJ Payne and Gavin Forche, not a young guy per se, but new to the program, and just continuing to push those guys along. That was a huge week for us last week in particular.
Okay, I've got a weird one for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, maybe gusts into the 30s. How much does that affect an opposing passing game, and does that then impact how you want to defend that?
It does, absolutely. I don't know. Sometimes you get those high wind conditions, and you don't necessarily feel it on the field. Sometimes I'm out there at the Bill, and I'm looking at those flags over there, and they're going that way, and these flags over here are going that way, and I couldn't tell you. They're telling me the wind's going to the left, and my shirt's going to the right, and I don't know. I think that's just a feel thing for the field. Certainly, it's something that has to go into a play caller's mind, I would think, both offensively and defensively.
I mean, would you look at that maybe more zone so the guys can keep an eye on it?
It's possibly. In today's day and age, the pass game isn't all down the field passes. Sometimes some of these passes are short and easily completable if you're in a hurricane, and so I don't. It depends on kind of how the flow of the game is going. That's probably a bigger factor than the weather.
Has Austin Moore taken some of the load from Daniel Green at linebacker?
From a leadership role, not necessarily snaps per se, because they don't play the same position, but from absolutely. I would say Austin's been as consistent of a player that we've had on defense at any position. He's just kind of an under-the-radar guy that just gets the job done every time, and I'm so proud of him and his journey and where he is. And I think everybody looks to him as an example of how things should be and what a K-State player is.
What do you think Desmond Purnell did best when he went in there last week?
I thought that he didn't panic at all. The stage wasn't too big for him. We've been comfortable with Des, from the outset of the season, knowing that he was going to have to take some snaps off of Khalid Duke and was going to have a role for us. We didn't know that role was going to be 65 plays consecutively. And he made a bunch of plays, but he made a couple mistakes and he didn't panic. He just went back out there confidently and kept fighting, and he played a really good game, especially in the second half.
Felix was named a midseason All-American by 4 different publications. How impressive is it that he has been able to produce the way he has this year, considering the secret is obviously out on him and he hasn't been 100% healthy?
Yeah, that's a testament to him, just in his relentlessness and how he plays the game and how he approaches the game. And he was really hurting especially toward the end of the game at Iowa State, and he still had some plays where he looked really explosive, and he'd come to the sideline, he could barely walk, and then he'd go back out there and just play his tail off. And I'm really proud of him, and he deserves everything he gets.